We're about to go meet Evan, and Evan is one of the owners of Coconut Cleaning, and 7 years ago, they had their very first year. He had one van on the road, and he made $68,000. Now last year, he made over $10 million with 22 vans on the road just in Arizona.
We were able to very quickly set ourselves apart because a lot of our industry is known for like having these white vans show up, you know, the sketchy vans, and we quickly were like, hey, Green Mango's working with the matte black. Let's go matte blue with a big white coconut and have it pop and shine. I got my first customer and realized that I hadn't learned to turn on the machine. It's not hard to get going, it's non-regulated, so anyone can get going. But something that we're adamant about is like doing it right. And so doing it right involves, you know, getting all the right equipment. This machine alone is $50,000. In his first year, he hit $1 million in revenue.
Insane.
Which
not
is
spending hardly any money.
Nothing. Other than the investment to franchise.
Sure.
That was 80% of what he put in. Everything else was organic and influencer.
Wow.
$1 million in revenue. And this year he's hoping to double it. Right now we have a little over 10,000 people on our coconut club. And it does over over $2 million for us in recurring revenue.
We're gonna break down how he scaled a massive cleaning company, how he's actually now taking it across the nation via franchises, and we're gonna break everything down and how you can also get started if you would like. So make sure you stay to the end of the video. Now let's get into it. Talk to me a little bit about where the idea of coconut cleaning came into play and how long ago was that?
Yeah, so really quick, 7.5 years ago, Cameron and Dusty were in this explosive growth mode with their service companies. They had already had a lot of success with Green Mango, and they started a security company and a pool company right after. And they saw the customer base grow fast because of the existing customer base at Green Mango. And they knew I had history in carpet cleaning, and they wanted to do carpet cleaning. And so they got on the phone with me, and a week later, coconut was made. You
know, the matte blue with the white, I mean, it is like really clean, right? Which is probably the whole point of that.
Yep.
Who came up with that concept?
That was all Dusty. And what's great about this industry is that we were able to very quickly set ourselves apart because a lot of our industry is known for like having these white vans show up. They look like, you know, the sketchy vans. And we quickly were like, hey, Green Mango's working with the matte black. Let's go matte blue with a big white coconut and have it pop and shine.
And then how many vans did you start with day one? One van.
Yeah.
Wow. And you were out there personally cleaning?
Yeah, that's what I had brought to the table was the experience and the operations. And so for the first, I'd say about 8-9 months, it was just me on a van doing the phones, doing everything.
So you were saying before we get into it, you actually get these painted.
We get them painted.
Okay.
We started with vinyl, and as far as like cost, we can actually paint this thing 2 or 3 times for the cost of one vinyl.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Super
so
cool.
we can keep it really, really nice and fresh.
So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is the Apex 570. This is the cream of the crop. This is top tier.
Okay.
So the reason I said it's easy to get into carpet cleaning, but it's hard to do it right. This is one of the aspects that makes it hard to do right because this machine alone is $50,000.
Really?
They have a big reputation here in this industry. We have little to no issues with our machines where historically if you're getting the $15,000, $20,000 machines, hey, great, do you, but you just run into transmission issues. You aren't able to extract as much, leaving the carpets a little bit more wet. This thing allows us, if we do the cleaning right, to have carpet dry within about an hour, which is something we're really passionate about. Number one complaint in the industry is dry time.
Yep.
And so one of the first things that we wanted to do in approaching carpet cleaning was making sure we had the right equipment to do it right.
What all does this machine actually do?
So we actually connect the solution line. So we're going to take a look at the water.
Okay.
But this is pushing out the RO water. So you guys can't see a part of here, but we have a 5,000 gallon RO system. A lot of carpet cleaners come out and they connect to your hose bib and use hard water, which to me is counterintuitive.
Sure.
So this is actually pushing out the RO water here in the back, and then it's extracting simultaneously into this waste tank here in the back as well. So we're getting all the pressure regulation, all the water, and all the extraction is done right here. So there's a saying in the industry, chemical heat agitation time, so chat, right? So the chemical process, any type of industry using any product, it can get pretty bad. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a more gentle green touch. So we made our own proprietary solution, which is our coconut surfactant.
Yep.
So the chemical aspect, we use our coconut surfactant for the floors, the tile, the area rugs, you name it. And then when it comes to the heat, most cleaning surfaces, we use heat.
Okay.
But on any natural fiber, like a jute or a wool, we go a lot cooler so it doesn't shrink up the fiber.
Got it.
But heat is super important in overall like hygiene and cleaning. And then the agitation process, we have a machine to like agitate the carpet and get it raked up. And then we do the time. So we allow it to dwell, and then we come in and do the extraction.
Got it. Okay, very cool. And so this is for that hose.
This is the extraction.
Okay.
This is the solution line. This is like pushing out the water. And this is the 120 gallon RO tank that it's attached to.
Okay.
So all the water we're using as we're cleaning the floor is the purest water that you can use.
Do they have to come back here to dump and everything?
Yep. So there's a few sites, you know, citywide that they can go dump at a few gas stations, but we have it set up through the city here where they can come in. It's nasty.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when people aren't sold on getting their house clean, a lot of times throughout the year, we just show them what we extract because they're like, you know what, I'm pretty clean. But then we show them the black water that comes out from their carpet, and they're like, you know what, you guys can come out here more often. So we dump here. But if they are, you know, pretty full throughout the day, they can stop and dump at a gas station.
You were the first company in the cleaning industry. Okay, so think about this for a second. The first ever carpet cleaner, furniture cleaner, etc., to create and succeed, by the way, at a subscription model. Right? Why has it never been done before, in your opinion?
I don't think companies knew how, and I think they just always stuck with what they knew, which is get in there, get a high ticket, and you know, hope that they refer. When we were creating Coconut, it was very clear that reoccurring customers is not only the most profitable, but generally the people that stick with you the longest are more likely to refer as well. And so I love when my CFO says I'm dumb for creating this, because if the finance guy is like, that's too much value, I know our people are going to love it. And so right now we have a little over 10,000 people on our Coconut Club, and it does over
10,000.
And it does over $2 million for us in recurring revenue. And so here's the most important, you know, piece to it is that we are committed to making sure that those people never choose another cleaning company. And so right now our Coconut Club, there's a fee to join.
Okay.
And then it's a quarterly cleaning. I like to call them seasonal cleanings. They pay just $99 and they get 50% off anything they want done.
Wow.
What's really cool for the, you know, people that maybe have a couple dogs, couple kids, is that when you're on our Coconut Club, it's our spot and spill protection. If you have any type of like spill in between your cleanings, we come out for free and clean that spot.
Wow.
So throw away the crappy, you know, little thing that you keep in your closet for a little spot clean that you never empty out the waste tank. And we're going to come out and clean that for free. And then on top of that too, we give a free air duct cleaning in the first 2 years that you join. So we'll clean your entire air duct system at no charge when you join our Coconut Club.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And how did you come up with the program?
We told them, hey, look, you just have to pay $99, and if you only end up using $99 worth, that's fine. Our CFO said, hey, look, that's not enough to go out there and do that much. But I was so adamant that the more we gave, the more people were just going to, one, trust us and send referrals. But I just knew that no one was always just going to spend $99. And so if we service those 10,000 customers 4 times on the year, that's 40,000 services right there. 37,000 of those will spend $250 or more per service.
You know, on the note of sales, you know, I want to talk a bit about the packages that you guys offer, the services that you offer, if you will, and then the pricing. So like maybe let's start with the most popular thing that you get phone calls for. Year
over year, we look at it, the most prominent services are our carpet and grout and tile cleaning.
Interesting.
By far. I'd say that's about 65% of our services.
Wow.
And then we do couch cleaning, I'd say third, area rugs, and then after that it turns into a variety of mattress, car, not necessarily detailing, but like car cleaning and natural stone, all things like that. There is a surface that you interact with, your dining table, if it's like a granite, anything like that, we can clean and seal that. Any living surface we clean.
How do you charge? Is it per room, by square foot, 2-story, 1-story? Like, how does that all work?
So we keep it simple. We have pricing by the room. And at this point in where we're at, I would say our prices are competitive with everyone else nationwide. We started very, very low just to try to get people in the door. But right now it's about 45 to 50 bucks per room of carpet.
Okay.
And then we run a special for 3 rooms of carpet for just $119.
Got it. What happens if it's like a really big room?
So over 250 square feet, we charge it as a double room.
Okay.
But the most important thing that people realize when they call in is that every, pricing given is tailored to the person's home.
Gotcha.
Because if it's 280 square feet, we're not going to go in there and just say, hey, this is immediately a double room.
Yeah.
We like to take care of our customers.
Now, is tile and grout going to be more difficult and more expensive than carpet, or is it the other way around?
Tile and grout is a little bit more complicated, and even one step further is natural stone because the whole tile piece is porous.
Gotcha.
But a man-made ceramic or a porcelain is pretty easy to clean, but what people really love about tile and grout is the grout cleaning. Usually they're toothbrush, hands and knees, but what we do is we come in and do, a fresh spray on the ground, and then we do a turbo extraction, and then we seal it after so it stays clean as long as possible. But have you ever smacked the cushion of a couch and just a puff? That's dirt, dead skin cells, dander, and there's a common misconception that it's just like your air ducts in your carpet that's acting as a filter, but any type of couch system is gonna be holding on to a lot of soil, dead skin cells, you name it. And so depending on the type of fiber, we apply the same cleaning process. For like a fiber type, we would do a hot water extraction, and leather, we do a conditioning for the leather to make it strong.
Gotcha.
But nonetheless, it needs to be cleaned just as often as your carpet or tile and grout.
How did you learn how to actually do the cleaning, operate the van, clean the carpet, clean the furniture, etc.? Where did you learn that from?
Yeah, so I'm very grateful to have learned from an existing franchisee under a bigger franchisor that's nationwide. He wanted to start the Tucson location, and he used me to go down there and start it. So I took their van, drove it to Tucson, and used my door knocking experience to grow. But what's funny about, you asking that is that I got my first customer and realized that I hadn't learned to turn on the machine. And so I called him and FaceTimed him real quick, and he walked me through everything. He's like, look, it's very simple. Put the spray down, extract it. And, there was a lot of complications,
Sure.
but I think within about a few days I had it down.
You had it down.
It's not too complicated. It's not hard to get going. It's non-regulated, so anyone can get going. But something that we're adamant about is doing it right. And so doing it right involves, getting all the right equipment. And that's where, a couple $100,000 is needed to get going. Yeah.
Talk to me about the total vans that you have on the road right now.
So here in Phoenix, we have 22 vans.
Okay.
And that's a mix between residential, commercial, and air duct.
Why not just scale to 100 vans
Yep.
or whatever in Arizona and don't even worry about the franchising? What made you do that?
Very early on in Coconut's history, I got creative and looked into the franchising process and fell in love with the idea that these guys can go out and have 100% ownership of what they create with a small royalty that they pay for having an accelerated path to success, which is the brand.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were saying a little while ago that you had a couple franchises that kind of broke some records
Yes.
recently in terms of total sales volume, stuff like that. Can you share a little bit about that?
Our first franchisee that went out, he went to Salt Lake City. And I said, hey, look, stay as close as you can to $0 acquisition. And for us, that's influencers and organic content. And in his first year, he hit $1 million in revenue.
Insane.
Which
Not
is
spending hardly any money.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Other than the investment to franchise.
Sure.
That was 80% of what he put in. Everything else was organic and influencer.
Wow.
$1 million in revenue. And this year he's hoping to double it. Our other franchisees hit $500,000 each.
Wow.
And I think the greatest compliment to any type of system you're running is how many times can it be duplicated. And so there's a two-part piece to that, which is the person and then the system. And it was very clear in our first year of franchising that what we were doing was working. And now we want as many people who want to get out of industries where maybe they keep making the same amount, but they're always left with that, am I building something towards my future?
Right.
We really wanted them to, be able to have an opportunity where they can take the same skills that make them great at whatever they do, and now actually build an asset and have ownership in it. And franchising is, has been the way to go.
How do you go about finding good people in any one of the areas that I just mentioned, and then making them love what they do?
This is one of my favorite questions. In 7.5 years, we've only had one job posting, and every other person has come from a referral internally.
Wow.
And at one point we had 5 sets of brothers here on the team. And it's truly no greater compliment to like the leadership here that the system works top down and, you know, down up, in that people are happy to work here. And when we say, hey guys, we need another salesman, we need another office person, we don't ever have to make a posting, because within a day or two, those people are posting on their social medias, and within a week we have a friend or family member coming into the company and working with us. Your dreams need to be so big that everyone inside your corporation can accomplish their dreams.
How many jobs or square footage or whatever can one van do per day?
So generally our vans are doing about 5 jobs per day.
Okay.
And our job ticket is around $400 on the average.
Average job ticket, which would be what?
A $2,000 revenue production per van per day. I would say the average initial ticket that people book is around $119.
Sure.
And the average ticket that we finish around is $400.
Cool.
Now, what's funny is your wife said they were upselling me.
Yeah.
But what we believe in is that most people are very busy, and they say, hey, can you do my carpet? And then we say, you know what? Your area rugs are just as dirty. Your couches, tile and grout. And so what we believe in wholeheartedly is that if we do $400, we're probably actually really doing about $600 in services. So it's our give principle. So most houses we finish around $400, but we truly did around $600 to $700 in services.
Very cool.
We gave away a lot.
I've done a video with Cameron, which I'll link down below if people haven't watched, and he did a lot of radio stuff like that. So what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so right now our main drivers for growth is Google Ads, as well as influencers, and basically anything meta related. So whether it be meta ads or just organic, we're really focused on Google, Meta, and our influencers.
Do you think Google and Meta really are the 2 main ways for any home service company in the US looking to scale?
Yeah, I think it's Gary Vee that says that, you know, the most important commodity a business could have is attention. And so where's people attention? Where's their attention? It's going to be on Meta. It's going to be on Google.
Sure.
And so I would be anywhere where people's attention is. And I think that is always just going to be right there on those platforms.
For somebody who might be watching that maybe owns a home service company, maybe not in the cleaning in the cleaning niche, but in a different niche, and maybe they're a lot smaller, they're just getting started, how do you recommend they tap into Google and Meta if maybe they don't know like what the heck they're doing?
You know, I think at this point there's enough organic content that they can look at other industries and say, these people in this industry that I want to be in is working really good. So I would always say try to start as close as you can to $0 input, and that's always going to be organic.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, I don't know if you've cracked the code yet, but we'll have a random organic video just blow up.
Yep.
And then we put that into our paid ads. And that's what seems to really work for us right now. So anybody out there kind of, I don't know how to get in. Google to me sometimes feels like a race to the bottom, where it's like whoever just pays more is going to show up at the top. But Meta is always really interesting on social media, where you can just post behind the scenes. It's simple. You can get on the selfie. You could do whatever and just post and see what people want. But you can't do that until you throw out all those testers and know what's gonna, you know, what people are gonna respond to.
You guys cracked the code pretty early on influence and marketing. It's actually the way that we were talking a little while ago about how I got my couch cleaned by you guys. My now wife, she actually, you know, arranged all that via an influencer. So how did that come to be, and what does that look like? And you think it works in any industry?
I would say to underscore anything about influencers is that you have to have a good brand. Is that if you want to work with influencers that want to feel like they're keeping up with everyone else, they want to show that they are working with companies that are investing in the latest and greatest and look the best. And so I wouldn't just try reaching out to someone with 1 million followers if you don't have a brand that is clean enough for them to share.
Sure.
But what I'd say as far as like influencers go is that most anybody and everybody wants a cleaning as far as like our industry goes. And all we do is reach out to them and say, hey, this is what we do. We'd love to come out and clean a portion of your home or clean some, you know, whatever you need done in exchange for a story. And it seemed to work really well. And I think the reason it works so well is because the brand is there, and, you know, our mission and core values seems to resonate well with people that are trying to, you know, show whatever it is that they're doing in their brand they like attaching themselves to like-minded brands.
Talk to me about that first year, you out there just grinding away, doing that whole thing. What did the revenue look like? Top line gross revenue look like roughly that first year?
I think first year we did $68,000.
Okay. Very humble beginning.
Very humble beginning. Thinking of that first year, I get a little emotional because I have 4 kids. And it was very clear that, me leaving this job where I was making a couple $100,000 and then going into this business where I looked at Cameron and Dusty and thought, like, I have guaranteed success. What I failed to look at it is it's going to be guaranteed growth, but outside of all the coaching and mentoring they offered, I still had to make it happen. And it became very clear in the first couple months that I was going to have to get creative and, find ways to bring new customers in to make sure that if I was providing this amazing experience, is this going to be duplicatable for other people to go and do it? And I think in equivalent services, I probably did about $500,000 to $600,000 in services that we were collecting nothing for because we just wanted people to promote.
Sure. Yeah. You were underpricing everything. Yeah, I would imagine. Which I feel like a lot of people do that in the beginning.
Correct.
You have
especially
to.
Service.
You totally do, right? To get that ball rolling. Okay, so now let's, obviously move into a really good year, maybe your best year ever. What does that top line revenue look like?
Yeah, top line right now, like collectively, is at $10 million.
Wow.
And I heard something 2 years ago that revenue is for vanity, profit is for sanity.
Yep.
And I got locked in and obsessed with our system and our margins. An evaluation that I heard was that most $100,000 employees need to produce around $400,000 in either revenue or decrease in expense because they exist.
Yep.
So like HR would be in a position where if they got paid 100 and they're really good at what they're doing, they're probably saving you from lawsuits and all the things like that. So maybe they're not producing revenue, but then you have a salesman that is making 100,000, he's probably producing $400,000 in revenue. And so once I found out what our calculations were on the service side, I was very strategic in saying, okay, I am way top heavy.
Yeah.
And I love having this culture, but everyone is making, $50,000 producing 200 when if they were operating at full bandwidth, they could produce 400 and make 100.
Right.
But in order to do that, I'd have to pretty much half the team.
Sure.
And so I went to a few of the key leadership and I just said, hey, look, we can keep everyone here making the pay they are, or we can get them firing on all cylinders as they should, meaning 5 jobs a day, 5 days a week. And if we do that volume, we're going to need 20 less technicians.
Sure.
The right people working here are going to make more money, and the company will be more scalable and more appealing from a franchise perspective if we were to get this thing more healthy. And what was so cool is that a lot of the people that we let go 6 months ago are back because they went elsewhere, and then we positioned ourselves for growth, and then they've been texting us almost like, hey, can I come back? And so we have a lot of those people back because we spent the last 6-7 months making ourselves healthy.
What is the most difficult thing that you've had to overcome to get Coconut to an 8-figure a year top line revenue?
The business is a vacuum chamber of me, and everything I despised about the business can all be traced back to a characteristic that I'm missing or a thing of life that I'm inconsistent with. Like if I have a messy car, there's no shot that my vans are super clean.
Sure.
And so what has been a always wake up call for me is that you can never, it's like going to war with yourself if you're doing it right, and making sure that what you're bringing to the table is 30% more than what you expect your top people to bring. And it's tiring. It's exhausting. And I get emotional about that because I remember thinking I want to be my own boss. But then I remember when I was W-2 making great money, I got off at 5, didn't have to think about the business. I got my paychecks, and every time I wanted to take a look at the business and reevaluate something, I could trace back something that I was missing to make that happen. And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
but it's worth it.
Totally. Thank you so much for staying to the very end of the video. I had a blast touring coconut cleaning with Evan, and for those of you who don't know, Evan is also partners with Cameron Bodden, who just got acquired with Green Mango Pest Control. He sold Pineapple Pools and a bunch of other home service companies. So they're absolutely murdering the game when it comes to the cleaning industry. So really, really cool to watch, and I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you check out all of our other content on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.